Jeff, is it your first time? It's your first time, right? All right. Jeff Rose, everybody.
I always hated going to church. Even before I could remember, I hated going to church because I've been told that when I was about 3.5 or 4 years old, I stood up on the pew in the middle of the sermon and in a little small but confident voice announced, "This is taking too long. I'm leaving." I was just saying what everyone was thinking, honestly. So by the time that I was 8, I knew how much I hated going to church, and my family always went to church. We never, ever didn't go to church, so this was unavoidable for me. And what I really hated the most about this was that they would demean me. They would dress me up in this little pinstriped suit, this little blue pinstriped suit with a little clip-on tie. And if you see little boys in Brooklyn on a Sunday dressed up in suits, they all look like kind of, like they can't wait to take it off. They cannot wait to take the suit off. And it's completely a demeaning thing. Adults come by, they say, "Oh, you look so grown up and handsome." It's so ridiculous. But so when I was 8, for Easter, I was left in the care of my grandma with my 2 sisters. And my 2 sisters and me just fought all the time then. My older sister was 4 years older, and she was 12. And her name was Laura. And she was really over having a little brother. And our relationship was mostly sitting in the back of the car and elbowing each other and yelling. And then my younger sister, Margaret, sat in the front, and she was 4. And my grandma would yell at us for fighting with each other and go, "Shut up, kid, shut up." And then Margaret up front would go, "I'm being good, aren't I, Grandma?" which was the one thing that me and Laura were bonding over at the time. It was unacceptable. So it came on Easter Sunday. I got up, I put on my little suit and sat there and waited because I wanted church to be over so I could get candy. And in the meantime, my parents had sent along 2 little dresses for my sisters, and my grandma was working on them and working on them and working on their hair. And my grandma said to me, "Jeff, why don't you go outside and water the garden, but promise me that you will not get your suit wet and muddy." And I don't know why she did this. Maybe I just looked so grown up and handsome that she believed that. But I went out to water the garden, and I was a pretty good kid. So, I was trying. I had the hose out away from me, and I was playing with it because we didn't have a nozzle. So I was using the thumb and kind of like working it, making it spray more or less. And I kind of got into it a little bit and kind of forgot where I was and forgot about the fact I was in a suit and kind of not wanting to be there. And then suddenly, off to the side on the garden path, I heard a little voice, and it said, "Jeff, hurry up, we're going to be late to church." And I looked over, wow, holding the hose, and there was my 4-year-old sister, Margaret, and she was about 3.5 foot tall at the time, and she was wearing this little pink outfit that had little frilly, just kind of knock-kneed with the little frilly skirt coming out. And then I looked back at my hose. And then I looked back at her, and she had like little shoes with the little ribbons on them. And her hair was all up and curled with the ribbons in it. And her face was red. She looked like a little magnolia blossom, basically. And I looked back at the hose again. And in that, they say that professional athletes actually have this thing that they go into called the zone. Yeah, I don't really know. I didn't play sports or anything in high school. But you envision something that's going to happen, and then you do it perfectly. I kind of wish she was here and the theme was gloating, actually. But I turned it on her, and it was wonderful. She was I think she was too young to really know guile or hatred. So she just took it flat-footed, and She didn't even close her mouth. Her mouth stayed. And I just started at the top and just, used my thumb so it sprayed a little harder, and it just hosed her all the way down, and her whole outfit just lost all its volume. She was like a little dog, that just gets. And my grandmother took a yardstick down off of the top of and she proceeded to break it on me. And my older sister, she remembers that it actually stung me and that I was sad. But the way that I remember it is that I was particularly happy to get to show up, Margaret. And I was also happy because I got to get out of my suit. But mostly I was happy about the fact that we didn't have to go to church.